Hey friends, welcome back for more Reddit stories. At special request, we have a couple of nuclear revenge stories for you to enjoy. So as usual, sit back, relax, and let's go. Be a piece of shit all of your life. Have fun getting stranded in a drug cartel city. So this revenge was performed by my mom and her epic mind. It all started when I was born. Life was happy, good, and easy. My brother was a good and working person, college dropout, but always very smart, or that's what we thought. My brother went out every night with his friends, nothing alarming but very weird. Time passed and I turned 10 years old. At this point, my brother had a girlfriend, a son, and had already moved out. It was fun until my brother moved back with me and my parents. Shit truly hit the fan there. The first day, we noticed an instant change in both his personality and appearance. You see, he didn't move back in alone. He came with his son and girlfriend. We asked why he came back and he simply said that they had a problem and this was temporary. For his girlfriend, to which I will refer as D, and son, this was true. But he stayed for the rest of this story in our house. When D and her son left, she cut contacts with both our family and my brother, but occasionally asking for money. Don't tag her as bad just now because she had a very good motive. My brother after this became a good-for-nothing piece of shit with everybody in the house. Turns out his friends actually were his dealers. You know, for weed and that stuff. Later we asked why did they truly left the other house and he just said, I had a fight with her brother and dad. It was vague but it was true. Sometime around 2018 when I turned 11, we occasionally went to visit D and her son. One of those times, my mom asked why she cut contacts. The truth was that my brother was emotionally, physically, verbally, and sexually abusing her. She didn't press charges and still refused to do so because of fear. My mom became enraged at him, but didn't do anything just yet. Years passed, my brother stayed in our house. Fights between my brother and everybody here became more and more common. My brother smoked pot 24/7 with 2 kids in the fucking house. I started showing signs of depression around those times. I was 11 years old. Imagine how shitty this was for me to consider suicide at that age. More time passed, it's now 2020, and his first fight with my dad, his stepdad, just happened. My mom was leaving to go to Culiacan, and right after the fight, my brother asked if he can go. My sister, which was not relevant to the story, offered to buy him a plane ticket. This is where the revenge starts. You see, my sister bought a ticket to go, but not to come back. Mom was the one to come up with this plan. My brother didn't know this at the time. Culiacan is a city known for being home to various drug cartels. Sinaloa, the state where Culiacan is pretty much horrible, more if you are like my brother. The day my mom returned is when I was notified about all of this. I was expecting my mom to come back with my brother, but she came home alone. My brother was left alone in a hotel with no money, no family, nothing. He tried calling us multiple times through public phones, but wasn't successful at all. Unless he gets a job and a house, he's either going to die of starvation or is going to get killed by a drug cartel. Wow, that is the definition of nuclear revenge. Let's have a look at the next story. Cheat on me and I will ruin your life for everybody you touch. Ronnie was a serial cheater throughout high school, but he was more than that. He was manipulative. He would blow through relationships, typically 4 at a time. They would only ever last a week to a couple of months before the girls would catch him cheating. He would proceed to leak their nudes or spill their secrets and move on to a new demographic of women. He was charismatic and scapegoated his problems onto his dying father. It didn't matter anyhow, he would destroy the victim's reputation until they weren't trusted. Anyways, despite this, I was in love. I was his side piece through it all. Morally, I knew it was wrong, but I had never been in love before. Besides, he wasn't lying to me like the other girls. He was honest about the fact he was cheating. I was special. I stuck it out. 2 years later, and he's falling in love with me too, or so I thought. He vowed to give up cheating. He even gave up porn just to have me love him back. I accepted it. We planned to marry. He was always so smart about his manipulation. When friends blocked me randomly or called me abusive, I thought it was just a misunderstanding. When people began to become aware of deep personal secrets, I thought maybe I had slipped up during a conversation. No one ever told me Ronnie had called me abusive, a cheater, or a liar. I never knew he accused me of being the things he secretly was. He would insult me late at night before bed and then claim that he didn't remember in the morning. He would slip sly comments into our talks, just enough to make me doubt myself, but never question him. He was a master of gaslighting until I hated myself and only wanted to please him. I was head over heels in love despite all of it. He would casually slap me, never when I was upset, but when I said things he didn't like. He would slap me across the face and I would be too shocked to speak. He followed it up by laughing and playing it off as okay to do or a joke, so I wouldn't fight back. If I expressed it was wrong or told anyone, he said I was misunderstanding a playful tap. Halfway through our relationship, I followed work to another state and maintained a long-distance relationship with him. It was my dream. I wanted so badly to stay, but after 8 months I gave up my home, my pets, and my job to move 1,000 miles across the country to live with him again. I had literally nothing and was absolutely penniless. 3 months after this, I caught him cheating. He had asked a girl on a date via an old Twitter account. I was hurt, but ultimately it wasn't so bad, so I forgave him. The seed of doubt was already planted, however. 2 months later, I snooped through his phone and noticed he had several Reddit accounts saved to Chrome. I vaguely recalled he used Reddit to view porn before, and I got a bad feeling in my stomach. I began guessing his common email password combos. I got 5 hits total. They were more than I expected. I figured maybe he was lying about not watching porn, which is not a big deal to me, but for 6 months he had been using these accounts to cheat on me, using hookup and porn subreddits. I confronted him. He screamed, telling me he had already apologized to me for cheating a few months ago and I needed to quit making him sad, that he had already said sorry and I wasn't going to get anything else. He explained that he had continued to cheat because he feared I would leave and he wanted a second option. I spent a week and a half sobbing. I had nothing but this man and I had never been good enough for him. I was destroyed. He screamed at me nearly every day, telling me crying was annoying, that my depression made him uncomfortable, telling my friends I was guilt-tripping him over something that didn't happen. Finally, I snapped. I had wasted all of my high school and early adult years with a man who did nothing but walk on me. I went back to Reddit and counted every person he had flirted with or exchanged messages with. I began to voice record every conversation, screenshot every text. Next, I downloaded Tinder and Bumble. For every girl who cheated on with me, I fucked a guy behind his back. When we went out with friends, I began to act more and more sad and slowly dropped in conversation how Ronnie had been yelling at me the night before and that it had upset me. I began to vent to his friends and show them every screenshot. Then I emailed his mother, his grandparents, and his work, voice recordings of him screaming at me. I asked his boss if his company supported domestic violence. I cried to his mother and she helped me as I vented my frustrations, explaining how she had been cheated on by Ronnie's father. Ronnie began to scapegoat again. He told me he was sick in the head and his depression was causing him to act like that. I knew he was attempting to gaslight me. When we were young, I was so in love with him that I saved almost every photo and text he had sent me to a OneDrive. I found all the times he had admitted to leaking nudes, cheating, and ruining girls' lives. I got in contact with each of the girls, making one big group chat and sending them every bit of evidence I could find. These were then posted all over Facebook. He had dreams of getting into politics. I joined every political group in our area and pretended to be interested in joining. I befriended the members and casually dropped into a conversation how Ronnie had cheated on me and verbally abused me and ruined other people's lives. They would inquire more, I would vent, and show them the mountain of evidence I had collected. Ronnie was still unaware I had done it. He spent the night screaming and crying about how no one liked him and he wasn't sure why. He had lost his job, his friends and family wouldn't speak to him, he was being publicly shamed on social media, and his political group had ousted him. I finally dropped it onto him that I had done it and I was leaving. During all of this, I had secretly removed what little money I had from his bank account and contacted distant relatives and asked for a place to stay. I was leaving. He didn't have anything left to abuse or manipulate. Wow, that is some high-level revenge. let's have a look at the final story. Irritating vegan temp takes office pranks way too far, so I destroy her entire life paradigm. At the time, I was male 27, a 7-year veteran at large tech corporation. Senior designer on the communications team by then, the senior copywriter went on maternity leave, leaving a temp in her place. Although irritating in a non-descriptive way, she presented well and seemed competent enough. For later context, she was also an uber dog lover and a staunch and righteous vegan social justice worker. There were frequent, mutual and innocent team pranks, things like replacing a box of Diet cookies with a box of Krispy Kremes or covering the laser on someone's mouse, like, "Oh, you dog, you got me," kind of things. Now let me fix that and let you get back to work. Being desperate for acceptance, new temps started taking things a bit far and seemed to focus pranks directly towards me. Even after a few subtle reprimands from our manager, she continued. Things like slipping inappropriate photos or comments into a PowerPoint presentation on the shared drive I was about to give, or fake crying during morning stand-up just to gauge reactions. Her novelty wore off fast. Fast forward to the morning after my birthday, she knew I was going to be hungover. I get to my desk, red-eyed and thirsty as hell, grab my water bottle at my desk, which I always kept full, and started chugging like it was going to save my life. It was straight vodka. At least 2 full swallows before I realized. I go straight to my garbage bin to throw up, the Slurpee of alphabet soup, at least 6 cans of beer, and God knows what else she put in there made damn sure I did hurl. I got most of the vodka out, but already being hungover, it made me instantly drunk again. Was not impressed. She came in laughing her brains out, taking full claim. I didn't knock on her, but the story made its rounds to HR and she was given a stern warning. I would have accepted an apology, even remorse, but not a shred. In fact, she started calling me Pukey McGee to literally no one's fanfare. I let it pass for a few weeks, waiting for the tension to die down. Revenge day finally arrived. She always left at 10 AM to get a Starbucks. I took this time to plaster lost dog posters anywhere outside office she might stumble by on her way back. She fell for the bait. Asking around, but no one was the wiser. Once she was cozy at her desk, I went to her car to stage a hit-and-run massacre with chunks of fatty steak, a liter of fake blood, an old leash and a collar, and a bag of fake fur. I went to work. I would share the picture, but it's long gone, but it was very convincing. Looked like a leash was caught around her rear passenger axle, and the dog got clogged and shredded between the tire and wheel well. I left the collar dangling out of the back with a particularly generous portion of gore and puddle of blood. It didn't take long before others noticed the lost dog posters or the gory car and put 2 and 2 together. Eventually, the owner of a white so-and-so with license plate such and such, "Please come to the reception," went over the intercom. It's on. It was delicious. She was out in the lot sobbing so hard she was coughing. Carefully placing chunks of bloody, furry gore into a box, it took her an hour to gather every precious bit, crying the entire time. My theory was that she wanted to return the dog to its owner as best she could before calling the number on the poster. Was a shame there was no owner or dog, but she was too distraught to realize it was fake. I thought for sure the lack of bones or guts, and obviously fake sticky stage blood, would be a near instant giveaway, but to my utter shock, it wasn't. A scenario I wasn't expecting, but welcomed just the same. It was just assumed the dog owner had printed the wrong number on the poster because the remains never were returned. She had the collar and leash cleaned and posted poster of her own in hopes of finding the owner. Given her reputation, there wasn't much sympathy offered. The righteous vegan dog lover was now a dog killer, and I took every chance I could to remind her of that. She took down all her gaudy dog lover crap off her desk and kept very much to herself for the remainder of her term. Bonus that she even left early, but not sure if I can take credit for that for certain. So those were the stories for today's video. Thumbs up if you enjoy it to support the channel, and otherwise I'll see you in the next video.